Okay, great job everyone. Another boss down, and fantastic work. If we keep going like this, we'll have the raid cleared in no time. And I have to say, Taliesin, you're playing especially well tonight. Normally you're pretty terrible, but tonight you're doing really well for a change, so well done.
Taliesin?
Yes, Mike. All done? Did I get a legendary?
Raid leader wants you, bro.
Oh, right. Yes, Gunnar.
Yeah, I was just saying you're playing really well tonight for a change, so good job.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've been practicing like really hard every day, practicing the game and stuff, rotations, practicing really hard, so...
Okay, next boss, guys. Don't worry, Taliesin is healing, so everything will be fine.
Okay, great, thanks, bye. Let's carry on. All right, Mike, get back on it and don't hold back. I want to be top of those healing meters, all right?
We're using healing meters?
Yeah, we do today.
Well, okay.
Knowledge is power.
A totally jam-packed show today because not only did Antorus the Burning Throne, the final raid of Legion, open this week, not only did that mean that we got the ending cinematic of the entire expansion to enjoy and pick apart, not only did we then have major physical changes occurring to the game world to try and get our heads around, and not only that, but just as the script for this episode was being finished last night, Blizzard went and put a whole heap of the upcoming patch 7.3.5 onto the PTR with new level scaling, character models, and more exciting things hidden down there in the code. And I want you to know, you can trust us. Of course, we are going to talk about 7.3.5 PTR in just a little bit. But as exciting as that is, and it is, PTR stuff can never be as important as actual real-life in-game goings-on, especially when that involves a new raid opening, and especially when that raid just so happens to be the culmination of nigh on 15 years of storytelling in the World of Warcraft universe. So for most of us, the week began on Tuesday with the opening of the normal and heroic difficulty settings of Antorus the Burning Throne, which is a very different experience depending on which part of the world you happen to live in. And if you're American or Australian or play on the North American realms, then you probably don't realise this, because for you, it's just a case of waking up, accept a quest from Tyralion, spend 25 minutes trying to find the door of the raid, because seriously, what a stupid place to put a raid entrance. I mean, come on. Right, there's been a lot of talk this expansion about how certain legendaries are mandatory. Like, if you're a fire mage, you need the bracers to stand a chance of doing any serious damage. Affliction needs Dark Strike to do the mage tower. But you know Blizzard are really taking the piss when they create a raid where you need pre-daz to even be able to get to the door without dying, because honestly, who puts a raid entrance at the end of a burning river of fellfire? Come on. Anyway, what I'm saying is, raid day comes along and you're in. You can just enjoy the content straight up. For those of us that play on EU servers, it's not quite so simple, because don't forget, our reset happens the day after, on a Wednesday, so it's a completely different experience for us. We've got no raid to do. We sit on the forums, or the streams, or on Wowhead, or MMO Champion, and we wait. Yeah, we want to hear about the raid, sure, we're vaguely interested in tuning and how much of a challenge it's going to be, but what we're really waiting for is that end cinematic. And yes, we're going to talk about the cinematic now, so if you don't want to see or hear about it, seriously, don't be a dick, go and watch something else. And especially in Antorus, because this cinematic doesn't just close the raid, but essentially the whole expansion. And it's a testament to how good the cinematics have been in Legion that there was a genuine buzz and excitement around the community to see what Blizzard and Terran Gregory would come up with and how the story would unfold. An excitement and an expectation that definitely wasn't there for the closing cinematic of Warlords of Draenor, which is a shame, because WoD's ending was a beautiful work which teaches us important lessons, like people will probably forgive you mass genocide if you wave your axe in the air inspirationally enough after just being rescued by the people that you were just trying to genocide. Lessons like that. And so it was that I and many others found ourselves watching Chinglish stream what turned out to be the world first normal kill on Twitch with his guild Cute Anime Girls, and be among the first in the world to see the ending of Legion. And it's fair to say, in my opinion, that Blizzard and Terran Gregory's team did not let us down on this one. We've got a separate video discussing this cinematic in detail, but the long and the short of it is this. Illidan decides to stay at the seat of the Pantheon for the rest of eternity, which is a massive sacrifice you don't even understand, because don't forget, he's the only one there without a chair, so he's spending the rest of all time standing up, which sucks. Like, he's gonna really feel that in 60,000 years or so. Then we see Sargeras, which is, and I'm not even being funny here, awesome. Just genuinely awesome. He gets zapped back to the Pantheon, where Illidan is basically going to lay the smackdown on him forever, but not before stabbing his actual sword into the planet, which you can now, once you finish the raid, go and see for yourself in Silithus and try to fly to the top of, but you can't fly to the top because you'll die. It's that big. It's bold, it's epic, it is, in my opinion, a suitably spectacular end to a storyline which has been developing since Warcraft 3 and over 10,000 years of Warcraft time, or 25,000 years if you're a dranei, or like a gabillion if you're a Titan, whatever. Of course, it does raise some questions too, like, are Illidan and the Titans and Sargeras really gone forever? Which is a big resounding no. Obviously, this has got sequel written all over it, more obviously than a Marvel origin story movie. Why did Sargeras' sword seemingly shrink between him plunging it into the planet and him getting imprisoned? Again, obvious answer. Sargeras unequipped the sword, and like all unequipped items, it shrinks so you can fit it in your bags. Everyone knows that. If the hunter is nothing without the hunt, does that mean that Illidan is now just a demon? But for me, the most pressing question of all is, where has Argus gone? Because when you complete this raid, you don't just gain a massive sword in a shit zone, you lose a planet in the sky. Argus is gone, replaced simply with a faint red glow in the atmosphere where it once was. But, and I might be wrong about this here, but I have really looked, there doesn't seem to be any explanation as to why or where or how Argus has disappeared from the sky. I mean, I guess we closed the portal, but no one tells us that. I guess that the Army of the Light came through it before it closed because, you know, they're a playable race next expansion, but no one has explained that to us at any point. The whole planet has disappeared and everyone just assumes that we know why, but you know what? I don't know why, so please tell me. If I've missed some dialogue somewhere, which is entirely possible, or if there's been some broadcast text data mined since this was recorded, please let me know, because at the moment, I got nothing. I have no idea where it went, and I miss it, frankly. It's one of those things that people will talk about if the game lasts another 10 years. Hey, remember when Argus, the planet, appeared in the sky and it was there for months and it looked awesome? That was really cool, wasn't it? No idea where it fucking went. Now, you see, what I've done there is I've talked about the ending of the raid and what happens after the raid before I've talked about the raid itself. And that may seem strange to you if you are used to playing on US servers, but that's what it's like for us in the EU every time. We see that ending on Tuesday before we actually get to go and even play the thing on a Wednesday. Welcome to our world, NA. Let's see how you like it. It's weird, isn't it? And the raid itself is, well, green, obviously, but also a bit red and eventually a bit blue. It is astonishingly easy on normal difficulty, but if that's a surprise, then you haven't really been paying attention. And you want it easy anyway, because don't forget, this week is your last chance to get ahead of the curve, because from then on, you aren't getting into any pugs without it, you know? It's got some crazy fun bosses like King Garroth and Portal Keeper and Coven of Shivara, some bosses which aren't hard, but you know will be the pug killers forever, like High Command and yes, King Garroth, and some which I suspect might turn out to be the most boring farm bosses of all time, like Ionar. I'm talking about Ionar. But generally, the fights are varied and movement heavy, which is great. There's cool mounts to farm, like the Winged Shadow Feldoggo and the Violet Spellwing. As if it wasn't good enough being a Shadow Priest in Antorus already, now you're getting mounts that are basically specifically designed for Shadow form. And awesome weapon drops to loot, like Orgrimmar's actual sword. And of course, there's the trinkets. The Pantheon trinkets that proc an extra proc if it procs at the same time that 4 other players' Pantheon trinkets also proc their proc. And Armanthul's Vision, which is basically an orange level 1000 unstable Arcano crystal, which is BIS for most specs, and like the Pantheon trinkets, can only drop from the final boss of the raid, Argus the Unbreaker. And even though we knew about Armanthul's Vision before, the specifics of how it dropped were one of the last mysteries of the raid. Was it an automatic drop? Was it a regular part of the loot table? Would you be able to loot cancel it to chosen members of the raid? How do I get my orange Arcano crystal? Well, it turns out that in the case of both Armanthul's Vision and the Pantheon trinkets, they are a push personal drop, which means they drop for you like any legendary might, except only upon killing Argus. That is, it doesn't matter how many players are in your raid, what the difficulty is, what your raid's loot settings are, or what other loot you get from the boss, there is a chance, and we don't yet know what that chance is, that Armanthul's Vision and or your Pantheon trinket will drop for you personally when you kill Argus. It's like the entire Legion legendary system in microcosm to gain some of the most powerful items in the game on the final boss of the expansion, which somehow seems fitting in a way. I mean, I say it's the last boss of the expansion, but I can't be the only one who thinks that the glowing middle part of Sargeras' sword in Silithus, the highest point of the sword that you can actually reach which, by the way, looks enticingly like an instance portal. Can I?
Yes, the final raid is open. Traditionally in World of Warcraft, this is where an expansion starts to take its foot off the gas a little. You have all the excitement of the new instance this week, and then the thrilling world-first mythic race next week with Method, Exorcist, and, the other ones, all vying for the most coveted kill of Legion. And then Method win, and everything starts to gradually wind down again. You have time to focus on other things, level some alts, get so geared that you can finally do the Mage Tower, finish your Lore Master, that sort of thing. That's how it's always been before, that's what we're used to. Hell, in Warlords, we started winding down after patch 6.1. That's just how it works. But not in Legion, it seems. Or at least, not yet. Because just like when they put Argus on the PTR when Tomb of Sargeras opened, so 7.3.5 has made an appearance in the last couple of days, which, I'm not gonna lie, if I was in Method, would really piss me off. And okay, so 7.3.5 doesn't take us to a whole other planet, but there's still plenty to get excited about here, especially as there is such an almighty dump of stuff in this PTR build, lots of which is groundwork for the next expansion, Battle for Azeroth, and therefore very little of which will actually be in 7.3.5 when it launches. And I think that's worth repeating. Lots of the stuff on the current 7.3.5 PTR will not be coming in patch 7.3.5. So, allied races. Not coming in 7.3.5. I know, sorry. No Nightborne elves and their amazing heritage armor sets until the pre-patch for the next expansion at the earliest. No void elves with their animated glowing hair. Glowing hair. No Highmountain Tauren druids with their awesome Highmountain travel forms and their, oh no, weird and disturbing moose-antlered bear forms. Oh no. No, just no. No allied race mounts, which means no unsettling moose-on-moose high-mountain action, and no void ostriches. No allied race unlock quests, which means no adventures with Illyria at the Sunwell. Yet. Probably no embassies in Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Yet. Get excited about all these things for sure. Lightforged dranei armor sets that come in light and shadow variant, don't mind if I do, just don't expect them to be coming in the next patch. So what is here that actually will be relevant and playable in 7.3.5? Well, there's the new NPC models to enjoy like badass upright Saurfang and sexy well-dressed Baine. Increased bag space, giving you 4 new slots in your backpack if you have an authenticator attached to your account, so you can carry more stuff and have less chance to get all of your stuff sold by gold farmers when they hack your account. A win-win. There's a new filter for the selfie cam, including one that puts Argus back into the sky, but the big thing is the first rolling out of level scaling throughout the old world. As promised, this means that old world zones will now, with logical exceptions, scale to your level, letting you choose your own way through to level 60 from the original zones, without having to leave an area because you've out-leveled it before you finish the story. You can also choose any of Outland or Northrend to level between 58 and 80, so Northrend then, while all Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria zones will scale between 80 and 90. So, Pandaria then! Excellent! Now, depending on your point of view, this is either a complete non-event or one of the best things to ever happen in the game. I'm in the latter camp, and I'm super excited about leveling up my new allied races through zones that I've frankly never even really played through before. But I'm also excited about what an improvement this is going to be to the new player experience. If the scaling and loot drops are done right, new players are actually going to have a working and engaging game to play. And you haven't been able to say that for a while now. I mean to say, I'm super excited. I'm not as super excited as Bellular, who is so super excited. He's made 2 videos with the same thumbnail and the same title on this subject in the last month. I'm not that super excited, but I'm pretty super excited. By the way, we totally got drunk with Bell last weekend, and now we're basically allowed to say whatever we like. Also yet to come in the PTR is the Ulduar Time Walking Raid, the new Silithus Battleground, and story quests and elements leading up to the new expansion, and we'll certainly be taking a closer look at all of these things as they're added.
There's still time to take part in this week's PvP brawl before next reset, which we don't always mention here, but it's my absolute favourite this time around, Arathi Blizzard, which is basically Arathi Basin, easily my favourite battleground anyway, but all covered in snow and with a frozen lake in the middle, which doesn't just look cool and change the gameplay in interesting ways, but is also pleasingly fitting for this time of year. One thing that many of the player base were surprised to find themselves without this week though, were the new bronze-tinted sunglasses, they being a holiday event transmog award. The holiday being WoW's anniversary. They follow the standard holiday transmog rules, and you can only use the appearance for a short time every year while the holiday is active. That's why you don't see people running around in Winter Veil sweatshirts all year round, or Pilgrim's Bounty transmogs, well, ever, because, you know, this one does seem to have caught people out though, because a lot of players obviously didn't quite grasp that WoW's anniversary is a holiday event like those others, and also, those glasses are cool, okay? That's no Winter Veil sweater or Pilgrim's Bounty hat or whatever it is you get for that. People like these glasses. Like, they really like them, so people were disappointed. Which is fair enough, because those glasses, they are genuinely cool, you know? But it was heartening to see that on the forums, even though some were sad that they won't be able to make their new shades a permanent part of their transmogs, they weren't willing to make a big deal out of it or anything. Everyone was in agreement. Though they really like the glasses, the rules are pretty clear. The limited time frame is actually one of the things that's fun about the holiday transmogs, and they certainly weren't about to let a trivial thing like this overshadow all of the genuinely exciting new things that have been happening in the game. No, it was a shit show. Obviously. Blizzard simply want people to stop playing WoW. Blizzard, stop doing stupid stuff like this. It's not funny. They literally go out of their way to ruin people's fun. I only subbed to be able to get these glasses. Nice waste of 285k gold there. How are sunglasses seasonal? What? Look, I just want to say, before I leave this one, some people have occasionally accused me of making up quotes for this section of the show, and obviously I never would, and this is proof, because I simply could never come up with anything this good. There are genuinely like 20 threads about this on the Battle.net forums alone. Do yourself a favour, take an evening off, light some candles, get some wine, find them, enjoy. You'll thank me for that. So, Antorus.
Yeah, it's here.
It's open.
It's totes
Have
open.
you played any?
I have. I've pugged it a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were actually in there before me,
Yeah,
which I
I
thought was really cool.
I was.
Was
I
it
totally got
like
in
proper
there.
like must-have curve? Otherwise you're not that.
Yeah.
Must-have curve. I am level 940.
Yeah.
Otherwise you are not in this
Oh
group.
my god, yeah, it took me ages to get into a pug group. It was good. It's great. We got to I've gotten to Kingaroth.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah,
You were doing Kingaroth on your pug at the same time that we were doing it in our raid.
Yeah, and you guys beat him, but I didn't.
Yeah, which is kind of made me feel kind of good. Well,
Yeah.
as you would expect.
Yeah.
Is it too easy?
No, I don't think it's too easy at all.
Well,
I
because
think
you're a noob.
no, yeah, no, I
Scrub.
think no, yeah, I am a scrub, but I think there are plenty of mechanics, which is good. Some of them are actually pretty good DPS checks for the level that people are at, like pugging it right now. Like the reason the group I was in couldn't get past Kingaroth, like we had the mechanics down, people weren't dying to the laser, but like it just took ages, and everyone.
Oh yeah, and that's a really good point actually, because I think a lot of the people who are saying it's really, really easy at the moment. I mean, they're
it's super geared.
They're geared from like heroic to Sargeras.
Yeah.
So it's obviously they're overgearing it, and that's what I did. I went in on the first day it was out. I pugged it. Completely overgeared, and we one-shotted every single boss. But we were like 10 eye levels too high for it. All of us. So we just demolished everything. All we had to do was like slightly pay attention to like mechanics, and even then, only slightly, because we could I took Kingaroth's beam full in the face, and it took me a good second to move out of it. But I was overgeared and I had pre-daz on, and I didn't die. It took me to like half health, and that should be a one-shot mechanic, you know. So I was like, and we just waltzed through that stuff. And then I went to pug it on my mage, who was much lower geared, maybe even a bit undergeared for it, really. But other people in the group were like around 920, 925. And they really struggled on like the fell hounds. They just couldn't get them down, and the tanks were not staying alive.
Yeah.
You know, and that boss is really simple. You know,
there were people in my group. I think most people around kind of like 925-ish, but then there are a couple of like 899. It's like, buddy.
Yeah, it's a bit low,
Yeah,
isn't it? Just maybe wait for.
Yeah, I think people are a little
LFRs
bit excited.
and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's what LFR is for, I guess. And like for someone sort of gear level 920 something, like normal is a decent enough step up in difficulty from LFR. Like I see a lot of like high-end players going, oh, what's the point of having normal and LFR? They're both so easy. It's like, no,
they're very different things.
They are different things.
They are different things.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I want to make a special thank you to Preach and Ghosty, not only for the brilliant intro that they helped us film for this episode, but also for last weekend.
Yes.
The reason we didn't have a weekly reset last weekend was because we were hanging out in Mike's gaff. Basically, well, not in his gaff. Not just with Mike, not just with Ghost, but with Nobble, and with Bellular, and with the Fat Boss guys. We can say that we were all together because,
It's on the
Preach and
internet.
Ghosty tweeted it. But we won't tell you what we were doing there, because that's going to be something that Mike is going to reveal himself. Good old Preach. But thank you guys for having us. It was so awesome to meet all those incredible creators and people that like a year ago we were just like watching and admiring, and it was just awesome to hang out with you guys. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sorry that my bits to camera were really low res.
They were.
I apologise. I just mucked up the recording, and it took too long. I couldn't go back and do it again. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video right now.
No.
So it's usually higher res than that. I'm really, really sorry. It recorded on a low bit rate. No. If you did like this video, though, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money.
They do.
To help this channel happen. Guys, you're the best. Thank you. They've just had a video showing our new flat.
Yes.
A little tour.
Yeah,
I
'cause
bet
we're
they'll
moving.
enjoy that. That's the kind of stuff patrons get. Lucky.
Aw.
Lucky. See, it's worth the money. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Preach.
And I'm Ghosty.
No. My name is Taliesin.
And I'm Evitel.
And until next time, cheerio.